Greetings sports fans, we're going to make some gin today. I'll show you the ingredients and I'll show you all the equipment, and hopefully it'll turn out to be good stuff. So have a gander at this. So there you can see we've got 10 grams of Szechuan pepper that's been through a coffee grinder. We have 30 grams of juniper berries, which has also been through the grinder. We've got 10 grams of cardamom seed, which has been through the grinder, and down here we've got 10 grams of cinnamon sticks, which has been through the grinder, and the skin of 3 small limes. Right, we're going to put our dry ingredients inside of this little beast here, that little wire basket, and that basket is inserted the other way up, of course, into the lid of the air still. And of course the vapours of the boiling liquid coming up through the infusion basket will pick up the essences of the botanicals and hopefully give us a really nice gin. Speaking of which, there it is. This has been steeping in juniper berries for probably a month now, just a bit over a month probably. The colour will entirely disappear, of course, because it'll be distilled out. This time, instead of filtering the berries out, I'm going to leave them in the still. Don't know whether any of it will come through. Usually flavours don't come through out of the liquid, especially once it's been filtered, but yeah, we'll see. Got to suck it and see in this game. That liquid there is approximately 50% alcohol by volume. So we're going to break it down half and half. There's 2 litres in that bottle, so we're going to break it down half and half to give us 4 litres for the still, and the 1 litre that we get out of it should be fairly high quality alcohol. So we'll see. Anyway, back to it. Okay, well, we've got our botanicals secured into the basket, which I've got to tell you was a little bit of a struggle, and as you can see there was some spillage, but not much. These little ceramic doodads in the bottom of the distiller are intended to break up the bubbles that form on the bottom of a boiler when you're boiling fluid, and yeah, it just stops the thing from spitting and spattering all over the place into the botanicals. We only want the vapour to filter up through the botanicals and then be condensed out as alcohol. So, speaking of which, here comes the gin. Or it's actually slow gin at this stage because it's just been steeping in juniper berries. So there we go, 2 litres thereof, and we're going to top it up to the mark you can see on the side of the distiller there. Top it up with filtered water. There we are. So that's it. We now have our batch to go in. So we'll put the lid on. There we are, lid going on. Just make sure that we're lined up. Yes. Right, plug is in. And plug a bit of power in. And we're off and running. So that's going to take about probably about half an hour to get to the boil, and then we'll come back and see how we're going after that. Now this is very interesting. There were some spillage of botanicals into the pot from the basket. At least I think that's what has happened. But if you have a look at the initial drops that are coming out, which I usually collect in a separate shot glass because it's usually a fractionated form of alcohol called methanol, which we don't want. Look at the colour. Isn't that interesting? I find that absolutely fascinating. I've done this before and the colour has never come through. Anyway, we'll see what the end result is. Well, after a little bit of a hiccup, which involved not having distilling conditioner in the still itself, I rushed off down to the brew shop, got myself some distilling conditioner and bunged it in. I think I might also have a seal gone on the distiller itself because it's not sealing properly, hence the wire bracket on top. But that alcohol in that little jug there is 60% by volume, so it's doing its job. There's still a little bit of colour in it, I notice, and I'm wondering whether that's because the basket is chock-a-block, and I mean really chock-a-block. So the boiling liquid may be in touch with the basket, but anyway, we shall see. It's got to go through a charcoal, not fermentation, filtration process yet, so we'll see. Anyway, it's working nicely. And there we have the end result. It's actually not 40%, it's more like 37, 38%, but yeah, not a bad end product, just quietly. The filtration process took 99% of the colour out of it, so yeah, we have 750 to 800 ml of some very nice gin.